Hello, I am Jon Najarian here at the LD Micro Conference in Los Angeles, California, and I'm lucky enough to be joined by Paige Tucker. Paige is the CEO. Are you the founder also?
I am the founder and the CEO.
Of Prostar. Prostar trades under the symbol MAPS, like MAPS, on the TSX Venture Exchange, TSXV. Great to have you here, man.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You do something that is unique that I have never heard anybody else doing, and that is you can map underground using a phone. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, we've designed what we consider to be the world's most precise mapping system. Most people are familiar with Google Maps. Google Maps is accurate to about 3 to 5 meters. We designed a mapping system, works anywhere in the world, works on a standard smartphone, but maps down to the centimeter.
Down to the centimeter.
Yes, sir.
So when somebody, for instance, is a new home construction and they're wondering where is the natural gas line into where we're going to put this new home that we're constructing, they could walk out there with their phone and with your software and map that to the centimeter.
That's correct. So our system is actually designed to map critical infrastructure, which includes anything above ground as well as below ground. But our real core competency, yes, is to identify, capture, record, and display the precise location of utilities and pipelines down to the centimeter anywhere in the world.
Survey grade, you say?
Survey grade. Survey grade's basically 1 to 6 centimeters. And yes, in fact, we can capture the information down to survey grade.
That's amazing, because to get a survey team out to a construction site, number one, they may be booked weeks out into the future. Number two, it's going to be multiple people and it's going to be somewhat expensive, usually, and you guys solve that problem.
That's correct. Normally you send surveying crew out there. There's a lot of people involved in the process, different systems of record that the data has to go into, and to process that information on average could take up to 2 weeks. We do it in real time. We do it in less than 1 second. In fact, the American Society for Civil Engineers had not changed their guidelines and standards in over 20 years, and last year they changed their guidelines and standards, and it was influenced based on our software.
So let's say, for instance, Paige, that in a city like right now I live in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and they want to put a new road in. But obviously, it could be a number of little things waiting under the ground to bite them in the backside. It could be natural gas, although not much in Puerto Rico. It could be water, could be electricity. They could map using your technology and find out what's there so that they can keep from hitting that.
That's correct. In fact, one of our clients is the largest infrastructure construction company in North America. Some of the projects they're involved on could be $1 billion to $5 billion project that takes several years. On a lot of these projects, they have to go out and identify where thousands of utilities and pipelines are located. And they're utilizing our software to identify precisely where those utilities and pipelines are. And as a result of that, we're reducing utility strikes by almost 100%, which can be cost savings of tens of millions of dollars, not including the time. Usually those projects are down as a result of hitting utility and pipelines.
Sure, because if they hit that, you're putting a bunch of people who had nothing to do with construction in a bad place.
Correct.
They might not have internet. They might not have electricity or water until that thing gets fixed, which is a pain in the butt, and could result in, like you say, lawsuits against whoever broke the ground and cut them off from that.
Yeah, what a lot of people don't realize is, for example, 500,000 times a year, just in the United States, we hit a utility or pipeline during construction. So that means every minute of every working day, a utility or pipeline is hit. And when you hit a utility or pipeline, some bad things could happen. You could have serious flooding. We could have serious traffic delays for several hours. Our businesses can be shut down. You could have dangerous petroleum products that are seeping into our water systems. Or in worst case scenario, if you hit a high pressure gas line, there's a very high probability you're going to have an explosion. And when explosions happen, there's injury incurred by the public, the worker, or we could have loss of life. And in fact, the loss of life number is going up every single year. So it's not getting better, it's getting worse.
And so the solution that you guys have seems like one that would need to be adopted pretty much across the country. How is MAPS, how long have you guys been offering this service at MAPS?
Well, first of all, it took several years to develop the solution, and then it took several years to find early adopters that were actually willing to change old, antiquated business practices and try a new, innovative technology. But we've gotten to the point now where we have a lot of adopters in multiple vertical markets. As I mentioned, we have a Fortune 500 construction company. We have a government agency that mandated our software into law. We've got other equipment manufacturers that are worldwide that are starting to adopt our software. So we're hitting that inflection point where we're starting to bring on a lot of clients every single month now. We're recognizing adoption, not just in the United States and North America, but all over the world. So it's an exciting time for us. This is a major problem that doesn't just impact the United States or North America. This is a global problem, trying to identify where these utilities or pipelines are located. In fact, in the United States, just to put things into perspective, we have 2.5 million miles of paved roads that crisscross our nation. We have over 35 million miles of buried utilities. And the majority of them were put in the ground between 50 to 100 years ago, well before we had any compliance, regulation, or oversight, and it was never intended to support the level of population growth we've experienced. We need to identify where these utilities and pipelines are located because it's a serious safety issue for the environment and also the public, as well as the worker.
What a great solution. Thank you. Folks, that was Paige Tucker explaining exactly why Prostar, symbol MAPS, on the TSXV Venture Exchange, how they do what they do, and why what they do is so important. Paige, thank you.
Absolute
Great
pleasure.
to hear from you.
Thank you so much.